Good morning, good afternoon, good wherever you are, ladies and gentlemen. I am Attorney Kevin. The reason why I tell you that is because this is another episode of the Not an Accident podcast, and I always fail to introduce myself, so I'm getting better with that. But who cares about me? We have an amazing guest today, Mr. Antwan Shirley of Energetic Exotics. I'm so excited, I couldn't even pronounce it. I'm very energetic this morning.
That's it.
And also, we're going to talk about his background in real estate and rental properties and just entrepreneurship. So we got a lot of different things that we're going to touch on. But without further ado, thanks for joining us, my man.
Absolutely, brother. I definitely appreciate you bringing me on. This is long overdue. I've been begging and pleading and asking to get on here for...
I knew he was going to go there.
Right?
I knew he was going to go there. And it's like, it's always, we're going to do it. And we took a little hiatus during the summer and so that was on me, but we got you on now.
Yes.
And it's very exciting. So we're going to get right into it. We try to get out of the fluff and get into the meat and potatoes, as I like to call it. So how did Energetic Exotics start? And tell me about the company and what it is.
For sure. So essentially how everything started, it's actually one of the most riskiest things to ever do. However, the business is based on the principles of being in America and chasing after your dreams.
Okay.
What I mean by that specifically is Marlon and Jessica pulled out their 401ks on a whim and said, "Hey, let's start a rental business."
Those are your partners in the business.
Correct.
Yep.
Correct. So they first started off with the Maybach. This was in 2019. So they got a 2019 Maybach, and they were like, "Hey, let's hope this works." They put out all of their 401k at the time. They literally left nothing left in the account, pulled out all their money, and they literally went on a whim of, hey, hopefully this works. Fast forward now, obviously, it does work. We're in multiple cities throughout the state. We have roughly, I call it 100. It's not exactly at 100. It's roughly like in between 80 to 90. But we have roughly 80 to 90 vehicles. Yes, and that is personal, company, as well as vehicle management with partnerships.
That's amazing. So you guys are in the exotic rental car business, sending out cars or renting out cars all throughout the state. And I talked to you guys recently when we ran into each other at an event, and they said one of the big differentiators and the reason we were able to scale so quickly is because although we're based out of Tampa Bay, really we're statewide. We can take a car anywhere.
Yes, absolutely. So what makes
if the price is right.
If the price is right. What makes us great is that we have everything in-house. And what I mean by that is we have 4 F450 dually trucks and 4 53-foot trailers that allows us to travel throughout the state, transporting our own vehicles. I think for us, if we didn't have that aspect in our own transporters, we would definitely not be able to accomplish getting to Orlando or Miami or West Palm Beach. We have 2 deliveries this weekend from our Tampa office going down to West Palm and another one going to Naples. If we didn't have the transporters, if we didn't have that system, we wouldn't be able to survive.
Because you can't put the miles on the car, more or less.
Exactly.
I mean, if you're driving, 150, 200 miles down to Miami and back, and then the rental, I mean, I get the logic behind that.
Correct. A lot of businesses fail to understand that, similar to real estate, and I love correlating the two, you win on the buy price and on the sales price. The in-between portion of it, when you actually own the vehicle and you're renting it out, is just great cash flow, similar to a rental property. But if you put all these miles on the vehicle, when you go to sell the vehicle, you're going to be screwed. If you have 100,000 miles on a Lamborghini Huracan, no one wants to touch that. And you might have paid, let's call it $280 for it. Now you have to sell it for $190 because you put all these miles on it. If you're lucky, and no one wants to touch it, the warranty's out. It's a risk factor. So we make sure to only keep our cars for a certain amount of time and only put a certain amount of miles on it.
With so many, I guess we call it not legit rental companies out there, kind of the, I'll call them the Craigslist, of exotic rentals or Facebook and things like that. How did you guys differentiate yourself and make you guys kind of a pillar or a leader in the industry and in the area?
For sure. So we have strategic partnerships, and that is what kind of propelled our business. So yes, we are a luxury rental business, but we also do chauffeur, which a lot of people do not do that in the rental space. So we do chauffeur, as well as we have yachts. So if someone wants to come into town, they want to rent out a yacht, we do have yachts throughout the state as well as we have luxury mansions that if an individual want to come into town and I want to stay on Bayshore, I want to stay on Davis Island, we have those capabilities to put them inside of a property as well.
And you probably figured a lot of that out through your real estate background.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's really transformed, it seems like, more than just, exotic vehicles and luxury vehicles. It's kind of like a full, exotic luxury
concierge.
concierge service where it's like, if you want to come on vacation to Tampa Bay or anywhere in the state, it sounds like, and enjoy the finer things in life, then you guys have the ability to accommodate that.
Absolutely. What we realized is that we're not in the business necessarily of rentals or any of that thing, right? We're in the business of hospitality.
Yeah, experience creation.
The experience. If you're able to tailor a full-blown package to an individual that's coming into town, you're going to keep that client forever, right? If you're a high-end CEO and you're wanting to come to the Tampa Bay area, Miami, whatever the case may be, you're not trying to deal with trying to call this person and this company.
You want one contact.
Hey, one contact. I can have my car, my boat, my whatever the case may be, my housing taken care of. It's effortless. It's seamless. And a lot of people like that better.
Tell me about, and you've kind of touched on a little bit. Tell me about the analysis that goes into scaling. Maybe we'll talk about it first on the car perspective. So it's like, how do you figure out like, hey, we need another car or we need this car? Or what does that analysis kind of look like?
It's all data, right?
Okay.
So obviously we're both here in Tampa. You will not have a Koenigsegg or a Bugatti or SVJ. There are SVJs, but you will not have those type of vehicles here for rent. The market doesn't sustain it. However, if you go to Miami, West Palm Beach, I might be able to run an SVJ or a Bugatti or a Koenigsegg because they can sustain that specific pricing. So what we do is we just do a market analysis, and it's just something similar that I took from my brain from real estate, and then also Marlon and Jessica's brain on the logistics aspect of it. And we say, okay, cool. This market is sustainable for only these groups of cars.
Correct.
If you take it over to Naples, I can do a Porsche in Naples because statistically, it's an older crowd, and they love Porsches. They love Bentley. Tampa, we see a few Corvettes. The Corvettes were good. It did very well, but they're now played out. We're actually looking at base model Huracans. That's what's doing very well here. We did the G550, didn't go so well. The G63s are doing very well here. You can't take a G550 to Miami because you need a Brabus, right?
Yeah.
So it's really just doing an analysis and seeing what works. We do kind of like a split test.
By the way, G550 is talking, and this G63 is talking about the G-Wagon. So just so everybody knows.
Oh, yes. G-Wagons, yes.
So, and the Huracan, the doors don't go up in that Lamborghini. No. The Aventadors, the doors do go up.
Yes, and that's why you got to have those Aventadors in Miami because
they want the doors up, man.
If they want to spend $2,000-$3,000 a day, they'll spend it down there. These guys are living in $20,000-$30,000 a month penthouses. They don't care.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's nothing at that point. So tell me about, how the marketing has shifted. And I think you guys do a good job of that. And let me kind of give you a little bit more background. So, I obviously do research on my guests and the markets and things like that and the different business. And I've rented an exotic car on my honeymoon many years ago. I got an Aventador and I never forgot it. A lot of times people think like renting an exotic car is just, for the thrills on vacation and things like that. I've always wanted to rent an exotic car, but it's so much more than that. There's marketing opportunities, there's movie opportunities, there's all these different things. So tell me about the different type of clients that you that you rent to, the businesses that they're involved in. And the reason why I say that is I think people narrow it down to such a small, I guess, niche of need, whereas it's so much larger than that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, honestly, we have such a plethora of different clients. You're looking at, for the past few months, it's been with a lot of celebrities, actually.
Which I'm sure is super cool.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. So the celebrities, they'll actually use it for props, which is actually super sweet.
And that's what I was going to kind of alluding to.
So we did a couple different music videos with well-known artists that is signed to like one of my favorite artists, Rick Ross. We done a couple different situations for music videos, movies as well. We do have an individual that has a movie coming out. It's like a Tubi situation. Nothing wrong with Tubi, but it's not on Netflix, not yet. But we've done that as well as we have a lot of individuals that's like, hey, I just want to do a photo shoot. Not only that, we had Eric Cernak, which is over at the Tampa Bay Lightning, rent one of our cars because he's looking to buy it. We've had a lot of NFL players.
We're going to get into that. Yeah, not Eric specifically. Yes. By the way, super cool dude. He shops at where I get my suit. He gets his suits at Milano. Shout out to those guys. Nice. Milano Exchange at International Mall.
Yes.
And met him there. Nicest guy.
Super cool.
Yeah.
And so young.
Yeah. He's like, what, 28 or something?
He's like 27, 28. Yeah.
Just crushing.
Yeah.
But really, really nice guy. It's not just, and that's what I wanted to get across to the audience. When you're renting an exotic car, it's not just like, oh, I want to go fast in something for a couple days or anything. There's so many other business opportunities and things like that you can use to take advantage and get the most out of it in that type of marketing. So one of my questions is as well, a lot of people get exotic cars for the hype. So how, I talk about the social media culture a lot and a lot of those things. How do you kind of deal with that flex culture? Or how do you, I guess, make recommendations to young people to kind of, be genuine and be themselves? Because that's scary these days. I feel like there's so many costumes on, for lack of better terms.
Yeah, so it gets very tricky. I understand it from a business standpoint because I do it on a day-to-day basis. A lot of people think
I made a lot of introductions because of the cars I have, and it's been amazing.
It's good, and we do it on a day-to-day basis subconsciously, where it's like, hey, I got to post this photo for the gram, and that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that if you're doing it for business purposes, but to just do it for the purpose of just trying to be in flex culture, it's interesting and it's expensive. Would I do it personally? No, but
keeping up with the Joneses is hard. Yeah,
I understand it for other individuals. Myself personally, before I met Marlon and Jessica, and I'm a very big fan of Millionaire Next Door, I literally was a fan of just keeping my expenses overly low, and they'll actually probably mention this. I literally drove a F-150 like 24/7.
That's awesome.
I drove a F-150. I literally had.
What did I drive here? You called me out. You were like,
Forerunner. The Forerunner.
You drove Forerunner today.
You know what? But that's wealth creation. And
Correct.
I understood that. And that was how I was able to, not only just that, but with strategic partnerships. And I'm very big on that. That was how I was able to build my real estate portfolio, is just keeping my expenses overly low. My condo, staying in my condo, not trying to.
Say that again, or I'm going to say it for the audience.
Shoot.
He kept his expenses low. For the love of all that is good, stop spending so much of your damn money on crap that does. I mean, I'm just like channeling my inner Gary Vee, but stop spending so much of your money on crap that is trying to impress people that don't care. Like, it kills me.
Yes.
So I'm glad you're saying this.
I looked into Dave Ramsey probably like 10 years ago, and
he's awesome.
Yeah, he's good. And what I did is, for the first, I think, like 5-6 years of my careers, I literally lived way below my means. I'm talking about like,
tell me he's wrong.
20 to 30% of my income.
Show me he's wrong. I mean, everybody's like, well, this, and you should, you should be investing first, and you should be. It's like, if you knew what you were doing, you probably wouldn't be looking at 100%. Dave Ramsey in the first place. And I was like, tell me one person that has tried exactly what he put out there, the 7 steps, and tell me he didn't get the results from it.
Oh, man, I did the 7 steps in a heartbeat.
That's what I'm saying.
From saving the first 1,000 to paying down my credit card debt, because I never went to college, by the way. And there's nothing wrong going to college, so I'm just throw this out there, too.
No, you're probably smarter. You're actually probably smarter than all of us.
I went to YouTube University.
Yep.
So I'm lying. I actually had a biomedical science degree. Sorry, not degree, but scholarship to USF.
Good for you.
I actually did do dual enrollment with USF when I was in high school. So I do have college credits. I just did not graduate. But no, I strictly went onto YouTube. I learned Dave Ramsey. I read books on YouTube or heard the audio, whatever the case may be. And I accelerated in that aspect.
I want to, there's so much to unpack with the last couple of things that you've said. First of all, I love that you went through the baby steps yourself and came out on the other side victorious. I think it's so important, and I've talked about this on prior episodes. Please stop following, and I'm not saying that they're not crushing it or anything like that. It's not hating at all. I'm talking about sustainability. Please stop following or supporting the idea that it's okay to go make $100,000 a month and then go spend 90 of it on a lifestyle. Man. That is not sustainable in the long run. Take that money and set a foundation for yourself. We see all these, these coaches and, influencers and entrepreneurs and stuff like that, and they're living at such this high level. Yeah. And, when the cards, come crashing down, and I'm not hoping that on them or anything like that, but it happens a lot. We've all seen it. We all have stories. You're going to be holding the bag on this, for lack of a better term, or maybe not so much.
It sucks. I have so many friends here in the Tampa Bay area, and they're phenomenal, and they're high earners.
Of course.
I mean, it's sweet, but I always get the comments, hey, man, why didn't you go get the chain and go get the, you know what? I got out of that phase so long ago, and I hate to say this, but I always told myself I didn't want to go be the stereotypical black guy with all the jewelry, and I just didn't want to do that. This never was me. I was always just clean cut and classy. But
respect.
When it comes down to that, I mean, I don't need a bust down chain. I don't care for that stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do love it. It does look nice. Maybe one day when I'm bored, I might do it. I don't know. But
have you gotten everything you've wanted?
Yeah. But as of right now, I'm 28 years old, and I think the biggest thing for me right now is just to focus in and hone in on building. I don't have kids yet. I do plan to have a family in the future, and right now it's just building that sustainability for not only just myself but for my family. That means more to me than spending an extra $5,000 a month, which I could have easily put that into my S&P 500 account and let that $60,000 a year grow. And Lord knows where it'd be in 10 years, So that means more to me than, hey, let's go get I am getting a brand new Ombre Rolex, by the way. That's a Christmas gift.
But that's a different story.
But
ignore that part, folks.
To do all this just
But imagine if you didn't work.
Spending.
Yeah, imagine if you didn't work for 6 months.
Of course.
You'd be fine.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I mean, and that's, I think, true wealth, true success right there is if I asked 90% of the people out there that's posting what they're posting, if I said, hey, guess what? You're not going to earn for the next 6 months. Would you be okay? And I think a lot of people would not.
No.
And that's scary. Tell me, and go into that. So somebody calls you and maybe, hey, I want to rent this, take this out, etc. What is a sign that maybe we shouldn't rent to this person or this is not adding up? Tell me what that looks like.
Oosh. We have so many red flags, right?
Okay.
So a red flag could be, I'm calling in, my name is Jeremy. However, when I upload my license, it's Tom's license, right? So that's a little huge red flag. If you try to
I never really trusted Jeremy anyway. So.
Yeah, me neither. If you try to come in to the facility and you're trying to rent a vehicle, however, you're paying with someone else's debit or credit card, that's a red flag for us as well. And then obviously just not renting to anyone that's below 25 if they're trying to get an exotic. However, if you're above 21, you can get one of our premium cars like an M4. But there's a lot of red flags, man. We ended up actually renting out or trying to rent out a vehicle to an individual that I ended up catching later on standing on top of the car. So, yeah, standing.
No way.
Hey, don't stand on the Lamborghinis.
Yeah,
guys.
don't do that.
Don't stand on the Lamborghinis.
Well, that one girl does it or whatever that I've seen in the videos. Yeah, but
she smashes the window.
But she's a lot richer than you are renting that car, so don't do that. So
no, I don't think I would do that.
Yeah, it's not my, I'm good.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's, and I would tell the reason why I bring that up is anybody in business, if it doesn't, if you have a checklist of, okay, what your client is and they're not, following those, protocols and things like that, don't be afraid to not do business with somebody.
Absolutely. Marlon always says, and I love talking. Marlon, believe it or not, is like a mentor. He is a mentor. He's like my older brother. Marlon will always say, not all money is good money. We've had opportunities to easily clear like 30K in a month, not in a month, sorry, 30K in a week off of one vehicle just from a rental. And the bad thing about it is the individual would want to pay in cash. And it's like, if they crash the car, we don't have a card on file. We don't have this. They might not have the proper insurance. I get they want to pay 30K. We can't do it. We actually had the rapper DaBaby tried to rent a vehicle from us and he brought cash and we're like, hey, like we need a card. We need no license. These guys had no license.
That's crazy.
They have no license.
Wow.
Rappers have no license. I don't understand it. But
interesting. Okay.
Yeah, none of them do.
Okay.
Yeah, none of them do. I don't get it. They just ride with suspended or no license at all.
Okay. Okay. Call me.
We don't
we'll help you get your license back. No. So I think, we run through it through our analysis and our business and stuff. And I don't think it's, people, to your point, are just, so, fixated on, making money and don't lose yourself along the way. Like you said, sometimes clients with us, I want this and I need this. And I, sometimes I have to have the conversation. It's like, this is the extent of our representation and maybe we're not the right fit for you. I'm going to find you somebody really great. I'm not going to give up on you, but maybe it's not, we can't provide you the services that you're looking for. When talking about services, tell me the importance of customer service in your business and delivering customer service in any business.
Yes, customer service, I think overall, for me, being the fact that I have a real estate background, I was able to master customer service on a whole nother level. But when it comes to service or just sales in general, you want to go above and beyond for that client, which is what we do. A lot of the times I waive fees and all sorts of things. I mean, I might have a client that really wants the car for their family and they're like, hey, you know what? I honestly only have $2,000. This is all I can do. I'm like, you know what? Let me go ahead and waive your delivery fees for you.
Nice.
And you know what ends up happening? They keep coming back. They're like, hey, I remember that experience. I really wanted to do this for my wife, my kid, and you made this possible. So we have that happen a lot of time, or just even one of our buddies, he has a roofing company. Shout out to Anthony. He actually comes by. He grabs the same car, the McLaren. He grabs the same car every couple of weeks. And he's like, hey, I had such a great experience with you guys. You guys went above and beyond for me. I'm just going to keep renting. I'm going to rent a few times a month. And that's what it's all about, is just going above and beyond for your clients.
And I've said that in prior podcasts. And one of the things a couple episodes ago, we were talking about service over sales. And I think people are so fixated with just making the sale that they're not concerned with building a relationship or a long-term, return business. I saw a big Pawn Stars fan. I saw Rick Harrison talk about it. And he said, they were talking about pawning items and stuff. And he goes, yeah, I want you to come pick up your stuff. And they're like, well, no, why? You gave me $1,000 for something that's worth $2,000. Why would you just not want to keep it? He goes, because I want to keep making money off you. He goes, I'll extend it, obviously still charge interest, but 2-3 months, longer than the pawn period, because I want you to come get your stuff. And then 6 months later, I want you to pawn it again. And I want you to tell your friends, hey, because he goes and says, I have to go through the trouble of selling it and getting new customers, and you never want to come back to me, and et cetera. He goes, I want you to come back. I want you to do business. I want this to be a long-term relationship. And I think people forget that.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I think when you follow specific principles like that, you'll forever, even in the real estate game, you'll forever have business. There's times where I've sold to the mom, the sister, and the son or daughter in real estate, where they'll buy a house and then they tell their sibling and they tell their nephew, and it happens, but it's all about the service that you provide.
Correct. And, I've had the same thing with clients, and, I get the comments sometimes, I know this is just a small case for you. And I treat everybody the same, whether it's 10,000 or 10 million.
Yes.
Because, I want, number one, you hired me, you deserve to have a great experience. And number two, if you get in an accident again, or a friend or a family member, I want you to first think of me. I mean, yes. And that's the best way to go about it.
You know what? To touch on that, actually, this is a lesson I had to learn. I actually turned down a client that was trying to buy a house for $200,000. I was like, it wasn't worth my time. Fun fact, they got their house with another agent, and they had a rich sibling that ended up buying $1 million house. So I didn't know that. But moral of the story is you never know who's in that circle.
Correct.
And you always want to treat everyone the same.
Exactly. Tell us one of the wildest experiences you've had, and you can take that. That's why I use that word, and an interesting experience that you've had in the rental car business.
Honestly, nothing bad. I think the coolest thing is just meeting these celebrities. I've met this TikTok famous guy. They call him Miles Morales.
Okay,
NPC Miles Morales. I've met James from the School of Hard Knocks. Which is
it's great, dude.
Phenomenal. I literally gave James my phone. He looked through my Instagram, was like, do this and change this and do this. And that was probably $10,000-$20,000 worth of game that he gave me right there, just on the
James,
spot.
Can you post my interview, please?
Yes.
He posted John Morgan now. I'm like small potatoes.
Oh my gosh.
No,
we actually got our interview in before.
That's so sick. So, yeah. No, he crushes it. I mean, he's awesome and stuff.
He's sweet.
We did get, I just posted, when I did my interview, I just posted a photo with him.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, thing blew up.
Yeah.
I mean, the audience that he's not a kid, that young man has is I sound like I'm 50, is incredible in what he's doing. So shout out to him. So by meeting these people, do you feel like, you have to conduct yourself a certain way, or is it, I imagine you just treat everybody the same. I feel like people are so concerned with, rolling out the red carpet for certain people, we were kind of alluding to in prior conversations.
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, there's not really a need to.
They probably want to be treated normally.
Yeah, once you get into the room with them, you actually realize it's like an on and off switch. They go from this character, kind of similar to the character I put on when I have my shades and my shorts on. That's kind of my theme on Instagram. But they go into a character where they're like, hey guys, buy this podcast. And then as soon as the camera is off, it's like, all right, cool guys. Let's go grab
he was
some
super
drinks.
mellow. Yeah,
they're all mellow. Honestly, they hate when you go over the board, go over the top, and you're like, hey, oh my God, no, we're just cool, calm, and collected. We'll grab a photo, obviously, and they're cool with doing that, but no, we don't go too crazy.
And you can't. You got to maintain that. What is it? Act like you've been there before?
Of course.
So depending on how much the car gets driven and stuff like that, how do you pick your next car? What, like, I guess you were kind of talking about data and stuff. I mean, is there something that you guys have your eye on that, you think is coming up in the market, or how does that go about?
So what we like to do is, so for an example, Tampa specifically, I'll just use Tampa because we're here. Tampa hurricanes are what's in right now.
Mhm.
However, what I project in the
They
next
are nice.
year,
I would know. Yes.
yeah, what I project in the next year is that now, once hurricanes is more common, we can go into maybe an Evo, or maybe we'll go into the Technica, or maybe we'll go into, it just depends, right? Maybe we'll go into a base model Aventador. It really
Mhm.
depends on what exactly we
As the
see
ecosystem
as
grows.
the
Yeah.
ecosystem, because there's a lot of money here, man.
Yeah, of course.
All these kids on Water Street and
Spending silly money.
Channelside,
Oh.
and oh my gosh, there's a lot of young money flowing into
I bet
the
average rent on
ecosystem.
Water Street is probably, for a 1-bedroom, probably between $25 and $35 a month.
Oh, I
25.
had two buddies that were renting, forgot where they were specifically, $7,500 a month for a 2-bed.
Oh,
Yeah. So,
hurts
and
my
you know
chest.
what? I was like contemplating. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. But then I'm like, my mortgage is $2,000.
yeah. Mine too. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it makes
So,
no sense.
Yeah, everybody looks, they're like, why do you live in Brandon? I'm like, because I pay nothing to live there.
Yes.
They're like, you could live in South Tampa. I'm like, it's
course.
15 minutes away. Like, I can drive.
Yeah, it's
So-
the difference.
You were talking about one of your clients, just coming by every couple weeks and, just picking up the same car, picking up a car. And I'm sure you have a lot of repeat clients. I would almost wonder, what is your suggestion for people that are like, I don't know what I want, or, trying to get out. Maybe it's better for people to just rent versus go spend $300,000 on a car if they want to enjoy something.
Yeah, for sure. Well, one of the great things that we do at Energetic is we actually provide leasing options for individuals as well.
Oh, okay.
So if
Like credits.
Yeah. So if somebody wants to come in and they're like, hey, I want to test it out. I think I want to buy this car. I'm not sure. Can I test it out? We'll provide a 3-month, 6, 9, or 12-month leasing option that they can go ahead and lease it out. And it just works better for them, because then they end up realizing, hey, I don't really like this car. Or they'll be like, hey, this actually is the car I want. I leased it for a few months. Let's go ahead and do it.
And I had that written down. I tell people all the time, they're like, I think I want to get this. I think I want to go get that. I say, rent it for a couple days.
Yeah.
And I think that's so arbitrary or so weird for people to think about, as like, because that's not in a normal car buying situation where it's like, why would I rent a car if I would just go buy whatever, a F-150 or a 4Runner or whatever. That's so antiquated. And it's like, no. You're purchasing a $300,000 machine. If you're not 120% sure, go rent it for a couple days.
Yeah, that's it.
Figure out if you like it. Figure out
That's
if you
it.
don't like it. Figure out if it breaks. Figure out this, that, whatever. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, it gets tricky. I mean, even for myself personally, I got into a point, I used to daily drive. I mean, I had an Aston,
Mhm.
still do, it's leased out. An Aston, what I'm looking at, Maybach as well, sedan. What I'm looking at now is like, okay, what is the next leap for me? To be honest with you, I ordered a Tesla. I have my Tesla shipping in
Okay.
next week. I'm just like,
pretty
I don't
interesting.
even really care to be inside of a Huracan 24/7, because sometimes it gets uncomfortable.
Mhm.
And it's great that I get the day-to-day opportunity to even realize that, or just sit here and be like, okay, cool. The MC20 looks nice, but it's a V6 and it doesn't sound like how I would want it to sound.
Correct.
Or, hey, the Huracan is super nice, but I can't really put the seat how I want to. So to sum all that up, I ended up ordering a 458. So
Okay.
that's going to be coming soon
Yeah.
too. It's crazy.
What, a Ferrari 458?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
well, it's not a 4. Is it a
458.
Are they
458.
redoing the 4?
No.
Oh,
so
you get
this
in
is
a.
actually a 2012
Okay.
458.
I thought you were saying, I didn't want to correct you, but
Yeah,
I
no,
thought
no,
you
no,
were
you're
ordering a new one. I'm like,
No,
I'm
no,
pretty
no,
sure
no.
those went out in 15, but
Yeah,
that was my favorite car.
Yeah.
I almost bought one.
2012 458. I'm actually working with Caesar.
Okay.
Shout out to Caesar. We're actually going to partner up to get that car together.
That is right now, I would say, other than like maybe a 911 Turbo S, and those are getting crazy. That is probably I think, going to be absolutely a collector car.
Oh,
I mean,
100%.
it's literally naturally asked. I mean,
Yes.
obviously I'm going on and on
The
right
last
now.
one.
They're amazing. Yeah. I mean, it is literally, I think one of the most perfect exotic vehicles that
Yes.
they make. So
And I like the Pista, the 488, which is super sweet. It looks
if you want to spend $500,000, they're amazing.
Oh my gosh, they look phenomenal. But when you're going about like the sound, like when you're comparing the two,
It's a lot different.
458, Yeah.
I think and I look at cars all the time just because I love cars. I think right now the best bang for your buck, though, in the last decade is the 488.
Yes.
I think you can get a Spider right now for like, and I know this sounds insane, but if you look in talking in exotic car land, probably $240, $250.
Yeah.
Which is a hell of a car for $250,000. I mean, runs with everything.
100%. 100%.
When it comes to marketing, I want to switch that side because you guys are obviously marketing gurus. I imagine a lot of the times the cars speak for themselves, but what do you guys try to do differently to put yourselves out there?
Our media team ran by Raina. Shots ran over there. But our media team
she's
actually...
Right. I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Our media team is very big on creating a visual lifestyle.
Okay.
So you'll see a lot of our content isn't like, hey, man, we're in this car. It's not like that. It's, hey, we're in a car driving to a yacht. From the yacht, we go to a mansion. We go out to dinner. It's all these different experiences that people want to visually see and kind of put themselves in those shoes. That is bigger than just car driving by, buy now today, rent now today, whatever the case may be.
You can get a Huracan for $999 a day.
Yeah, it's just that's
$999.
Cool. That's cool, but it's if you can put together a visual concept that someone can look at and be like, "Wow, holy crap, I wanna get on a yacht today. Wow, that car looks cool. That guy looks cool driving it. I want to go do that." That's bigger than just showing the car and just throwing up a price.
And I couldn't agree with that more. I think a lot of times people, and we kind of talked about it earlier, they're so concerned again with the sell.
Yeah.
And it's like, when I look at my content, I probably, and I make sure I don't, maybe less than 50% of my stuff is like really legal content. And I've said this in the past. Nobody wants to see an ad that says, if you're involved in a car accident, make sure you treat within 14 days or you can lose part of your benefits. You're like, next, nobody cares. And that's longer than probably most people get through. But it's like, oh, here's Kevin with his kids. Oh, here's Kevin, at a car show. Oh, here's this. Oh, he's at the gym. He's a normal guy. Hey, he told people that he's fat and he lost 40 pounds. That's the relatable stuff. I was a little chunky, I'm just saying. But that's the relatable stuff that people want to do business with you. And they see that life, whether it's either the experience that you're trying to create or the person that you are. That's how people build trust.
Yes.
And then they buy from you.
Yes.
And that's what you should be creating with social media. I sound like I'm giving a TED Talk. But that's what you should be really doing with social media. Nobody gives a shit how much nice stuff you have. It's, hey, are they a cool person? And therefore, is that somebody I want to do business with? Give them something else to like.
That's
not because you're the greatest.
That's it. It's so big. Being a person of the community means way much more than anything.
Correct. Whether that's an online community or local.
Yes. And we focus on that very heavily. Obviously, having like our Cars and Coffee every second Sunday of the month, or we're donating. We're actually having our casino event where we're actually going to be
on the 18th.
On the 18th, partnering up with Joshua House, and we're having proceeds given
and they do
to
great
Joshua
jobs.
House. It's really
Let's shout that out real quick. So it's the 18th at, is it 6 o'clock?
October 18th at 6 p.m. over at Energetic Exotics.
Okay.
Our address, if you just put it onto Apple,
come right up.
They finally approved that. We've been waiting on that forever. Oh my gosh. But it's
such a fight with some of these search engines.
If you type it in on Apple, it'll pop right up. Energetic Exotics.
Yeah, I think you guys, like I said, do a great job of creating a lifestyle. And then you're also, and some of your content is now interviewing other entrepreneurs, partners that you guys work with and things like that, where you guys are, again, getting involved in the online community and positioning yourselves not only as experts, but as, hey, it's not just about us. It's about everybody.
To touch on that too, with the interviews, for me personally, I wanted to do that. And the podcast is called Formula for Freedom, or the stand-up interviews, whatever you want to call it. It's specifically
we'll link that. We'll make sure we link that. Yeah,
of course.
Below. So check that out.
It's specifically for that individual that was similar to myself, that was in high school or college or whatever the case may be. That's like, yo, I don't know what to do with my life. I think I want to do this. And they can literally follow, whether it's your interviews or whether it's Eric Bosworth, that's in insurance, or this guy over here, whatever the case may be.
He's a fine fellow.
They can follow all these different people's videos and see, oh, wow, this is what they did. This is how much they made. Oh, wow, they actually started in the mud, because there's a lot of people here in Tampa that's like...
I had him on the podcast. Eric has a heck of a story. Yeah,
there's
awesome person.
There's a lot of people here in Tampa that are, and I'm not from Tampa, by the way, but there's a lot of people here that are like, yeah, man, I was broke.
Yeah.
On Bayshore.
Yeah.
I was broke, but I was living on Bayshore. Yeah, I just don't understand any of that stuff. But no, I love I love being able to inspire younger minds to think outside of this box and look into doing other things. We're such in a interesting society where you don't have to just be a teacher or a doctor or an attorney or whatever the case may be. You can do whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
And if they understand that if they just put their mind to it, they'll accelerate. And that's all it's about, is just being able to find someone that you can relate to and follow their footsteps and accelerate.
Absolutely. And I call it paid passion,
Mm.
where it's like, can you find something that you're passionate about, and then can you get paid for it? And, you know, to your point, like you were saying, a lot of people, it's just this like significant, or it's just not even significant. It's a similar path. I'm going to go to high school. Hopefully I get in the AB program or some type of honors program. Hopefully I get a few college credits. I go to college for 4 years. Maybe I go for a master's degree. I get a $70,000 a year job, and then hopefully life works out.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's path now is, one, I don't think even sustainable with the cost of living. And number two is it's boring.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, pick a life that's going to excite you, you know, write down. And I tell people all the time, it's like, write down, you know, when I talk to college kids or I talk to young people, I'm like, write down the 10 things you want to do in a day. And they're like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, do you want to go to the gym? Do you want to, you know, get closer to God? Do you want to, you know, eat certain foods? Do you want to, you know, interact with certain people? Do you want to do this, this, and this? Okay, then find a career that matches with those things. I said, but don't just pick a job and then work your life around that. I mean, you're going to get unhappy real quick.
That was exactly what I was doing. So my sister and I, very, very big curriculum individuals. We were by the book, both in like AB and honor roll and all these things. Like, we're just phenomenal students. She went down the college route. Amazing. She's amazing. And she has like 100K in debt.
Mhm.
I did partially go down the college route as well again, but I dropped out. I didn't want to deal with that stuff. And I have no debt.
Mm-hmm.
I have no debt whatsoever, kind of, except for real estate. But I have no school debt.
Mhm.
All that stuff is taken care of. And I actually make a great income, and I don't need to worry about, hey, I have to pay a monthly fee towards that school debt. It just didn't make sense to me at the time, only because, again, I was going for the biomedical science program. What the hell was I going to do with that? I had no clue.
Unless you're a doctor working in a
I was
pharmacy or something.
trying to be a physical therapist. I have
Okay.
no clue,
Yeah.
but it was free. Biomedical science program, cool. I didn't even know what I was going to do with that, but I was like, hey, I want to be a physical therapist. I love physical therapy during the time, which was sweet. I could have definitely went down that path and been successful, but yeah, no.
Again, very similar to the, you know, the car business of, you know, renting a car before you actually buy one. It's the same thing when it goes to college, and it's like you're going to rack up very likely 6 figures in debt, even getting a 4-year degree if you don't get some type of scholarship. So, you know, and I think people are afraid to, you know, take 2 years and go work. And it's like, and that's like so shameful now. It's like, yeah, hey, I decided not to go to college, and I got, I went and got a job. Oh my gosh. Like, you weren't smart enough to go to college. And it's like, no, I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I didn't want to get in this mountain of debt before I decided, hey, this is what I want to do for, you know, a large portion of my life. I don't think there's anything wrong with taking 2 or 3 years and, you know, getting a job, figuring out what you're like, and then getting a degree after the fact, or going and getting an online degree or getting a certificate. Or there's no one way to do this anymore. And I hope people really understand that.
Yes. As we look at now, I actually have a couple different Harvard certifications. And I actually do want to go back to school, but now it's for business.
Yeah.
So things have changed, and I actually do love business. I love the analytical side, the number side, whatever the case may be. I love business. So it's good.
There was a lot of things. Obviously, law school, you know, teaches you. It doesn't teach you how to be a lawyer, but it teaches you how to analyze the law. That's really all it is. But as far as, you know, the business side, it doesn't teach you anything about the business side. So reading a P&L, learning how to market, learning how to, you know, negotiate a real estate lease, learning, you know, et cetera, you know, coming up with locations, et cetera, et cetera. It doesn't really do a good job of doing that. And I really wish that it did, because being a lawyer, you're kind of capped out at what you can make based on the hours that you work, but owning a law firm is obviously a whole different ballgame. I want to switch over real quick, and we were talking about it before we started the episode. I noticed that you guys, and I try to do it myself, always wear a lot of your own swag. And I think that is the easiest way to market yourself, and something that a lot of people don't take advantage of. Why don't they take advantage of that, you think? And where did this come from?
Yeah, absolutely. I think to wear your own merch, the idea of it sounds phenomenal, but you have to be like actually deep in it. And I wear not this specific shirt, but I wear the brand 24/7. I legit wear the brand. I was telling my partners like, hey, we need to get some dry fit workout shirts.
100%.
I'll wear it. Because for me again, I went into and I like to call it a Steve Jobs phase where I specifically told myself, hey, black shirt, white shirt, jeans, 24/7. I did that back in, I think it was like 2019, 2020 for a long time. Now to the point that when it comes down to wearing Louis and Gucci and all that stuff, and I do on vacation, that's it. But when it comes down to wearing that stuff on a day-to-day routine, I don't really care for materialism. And to market your brand and bring brand awareness, I mean, this is not free because obviously you have to pay for the shirt, but it's free advertising at the end of the day.
Yeah.
My whole team, everyone, we're all wearing the Energetic Exotic shirt 24/7, no matter where we're going. And by wearing this, we do have individuals that are like, hey, what is that? Where do you work? What do you do?
I get it all the time.
I get to talk, and I love talking.
Yeah. No, myself as well. I mean, I think it's so important. And it's like, you see individuals that, are just wearing either like plain t-shirts or like you said, or like normal clothes or they're wearing, other people's brands. And I forgot who it said, but it was like somebody made a comment I saw in the social media universe. And it's like, they're not paying me to wear this.
Exactly.
Nobody's paying me to wear Off-White. Nobody's paying me to wear Gucci or Louis or anything like that. That would be really cool. Louis Vuitton, hit me up. I will definitely wear more of your clothes.
Yes.
But nobody's paying me. So why would I not wear my own stuff?
Exactly.
And it costs, what, $10 more on the shirt to get your logo on it? So I never really got that. And I think more people should do that.
And now someone sees your shirt and they're like, hey, you know what? My cousin's uncle's brother just got into an accident. I need your number. And boom, you just created business.
I've heard people, I got a little bit of criticism. People's like, I don't want to look like a NASCAR driver. I just, and I'm like, well, I mean, I got goals and stuff to pay for. So
absolutely,
sorry. Yeah. What should people be on the other side of it? We talked about what you guys look out for when people are choosing a, reputable exotic rental company. What should they be looking for in the company that they're renting from?
Yeah, 100%. I think honestly, you want to make sure that is a legit business. Nothing against other exotic car
So maybe
companies.
stay off Facebook or Craigslist?
Yeah.
Okay.
And again, nothing against that. I know individuals, they'll post their car. You might have like a mom and pop shop or like an individual. I met a guy, his mother and his father, they bought a few cars and they just rent them out on Facebook or Turo. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
However, for a similar business model like ours, where we're looking at being a number one brand here in the state of Florida, you want to make sure that when you're going to look up this company, that everything checks out. They're on Google, check. They have a physical location that you can go to that's safe. Because safety is big. There's a lot of companies that they might have a Google account and you might look them up, but you go pick up the car and it's in front of a house, and nothing wrong with that. But it's just, again, it's all about safety. And you just want to make sure that everything is what it is. We do a 31-point inspection with all of our vehicles every time they go out, every time they go in, and we do quarterly inspections as well. You want to make sure that the vehicles are intact and they're good. We make sure to keep all of
that would be my biggest fear.
Yeah. We make sure to keep all of our mileage low. Once we get to, on the Huracans, 30,000 miles, they're gone. For like the SUVs, like our Maybach or like our Bentleys or whatever the case, we get up a little bit higher, closer to like 40, 45. After that, they're gone. Too much wear and tear, and then you start having headaches and engine issues, obviously, and you just get rid of them. But we always buy low miles. We're 12, 13,000 miles for every vehicle, maybe 10,000. The Maybach we got brand new. The videos on Mercedes-Benz of Tampa Page, which is cool.
That's really dope. Yeah.
I went to go buy the car and they ended up sharing that with me, which is cool. So we're collaborated on Mercedes-Benz of Tampa's page.
That's really cool.
But bought that car with like 200 miles on it. We're very big on just making sure that the vehicle is in pristine condition. And a lot of other individuals, and again, nothing wrong with it, but you might get into a, I don't know, Lamborghini with 180,000 miles, and it might start smoking, and it has the engine light on and the tire light on, and we don't do that stuff.
That was the big, yes. Not only does that ruin the experience, the other thing that, you kind of touched on is renting a well-maintained vehicle that doesn't have any issues because, your credit card is on the line in a lot of these instances, or your insurance policy is on the line. So if you're renting a vehicle that is not kept in a pristine condition, you could be sharing some of the blame on somebody that may not be as legitimate and getting yourself into quite an issue.
There you go.
So using somebody that is reputable, takes care of the vehicles, and actually has a real business with a real storefront, it's very important.
Very, very.
Tell me about, I want to touch on real quick, how you got involved in rental properties and what that looks like now.
Yeah, absolutely. So I got started in real estate in where are we at now? 2017, 8 years. Yes. So 2017, I started off from YouTube University actually looking to wholesaling real estate.
Okay.
So a lot of people don't know what that is, but essentially all you're doing is finding a property, getting that property up on a contract, and then just reassigning that contract over to a actual buyer.
Mm-hmm.
So during that time, that's all I did. For the first few years, again, I wasn't spending any of my money. That was 2017. 2020, I ended up getting licensed as a realtor here in the state of Florida, specifically because I kept running into a lot of issues from 2017 up into 2020 where they're like, hey, you can't do this. You're not a realtor. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'll just become a realtor then.
Now I am.
So got the license, and I was actually able to accelerate my situation. As far as getting rental properties, again, it's all strategic partnerships. So I'd find a buddy similar to like you, right? Hey, Kevin, I found this property. I have someone that will lend us the rest of the loan. We just have to come to the table with $60,000. So we come up with the money together. We'll reach out to an individual like Ryan McGinnis. Shout out to Ryan. Reach out to an individual similar to like Ryan McGinnis that is a private money investor. Or you can go to hard money route, whatever the case may be. They would bring the 70 or 65% to the table. You just have to come up with the 30 or 35%. We'd purchase a property, later on refinance or rent it out or whatever the case may be, right? So that was the game plan for a long time. If you actually look on my Instagram, if you go like way down before all the crazy interviews I started doing, you'll actually see I used to post a lot of the flips I used to do.
Okay.
I would roughly do like 3 flips a year. Nothing too crazy, but just
maintainable.
getting my feet wet. And I mean, that provides a pretty decent salary after taxes. But I do 2 to 3 flips a year, not including obviously being a licensed realtor as well. But it was a great time. I still do it. I'm actually working on new construction with a strategic partnership right now that I'm up under a NDA and can't talk too much about.
Fair enough.
We're doing new construction essentially. So I kind of accelerated. That's my favorite word today, accelerated. I've kind of accelerated my process and said, you know what? Flips are cool, but flips are too much headache. Once you open up this wall behind me and you look what's inside, now you see the plumbing's messed up, or now you got to get the whole house rewired, or whatever the case may be. It's just way too much headache.
It's easier to start from scratch.
If you start from scratch, it's actually more cost effective to start from scratch. You can build at $100 a square foot or whatever the case may be. If you have a good builder, you can just build from the ground up. You can build a house for easy numbers, $150,000 and sell it for $300,000. It's 100% possible rather than doing a flip, purchasing it for $300,000, putting another $100,000 in it just to make $20,000 on the back end. It makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah, and if you're doing hard money, you better move it quick.
Yeah, exactly. And you only have so much time.
Correct.
A lot of these investors will only give you 12 months or 6 months.
Yeah.
And you're looking at a 12% annual return back to them, which you're paying 1% or 1 point per month to that individual, just interest only. You still owe that loan back. So it becomes a headache.
Gets messy. Tell me what you would suggest now, and I know obviously most of our episode was about the rental cars and the exotic rental cars, but tell me what you would suggest now for people that are starting to get into the real estate industry, and because it's definitely a different market than when you started 8 years ago.
Yeah. If you're brand new and getting in, my best advice would be is not trying to flip. Don't try to flip. If you're one of these wealthy kids or wealthy family people, then go ahead and, try it, I guess. But know that there isn't always going to be as it seems. The best hack, and I call it hack specifically because I like to call it as a house hack as it's known, get you a triplex, buy a triplex, do FHA 3.5 down, get a triplex, live in one unit, rent out the other 2 units, stay there for a year, put another tenant in that 3rd unit, and do that same process again, except for this time, save a little bit more money because now you're going to go conventional. You're not going to be FHA because you're not a first-time home buyer anymore. Go conventional. So roughly you're looking at, depending on your lender, you can get as low as 3% or you can go as high as 20%. I can go higher than that, obviously, but just have some money stored up for that little ballpark. So if you're getting a $200,000 home, you roughly want to have $40,000 max. Don't forget also you have your closing costs, etc. So
Another
let's just say be safe, $60,000 for a $200,000 home, just to be safe. Do something like that. House hack, do a triplex. You can get a quadruplex as well, which is awesome because it's still considered single family residential. So you can have 3 units rented out, paying for that 4th unit that you're in, and you can stay in that 4th unit, rent it out, collect the cash flow, move in on another property. You can do it again, get you another quad or tri, or you can get a duplex, whatever the case may be. That is the simplest way to build wealth. And let's just say hypothetically, if you're not able to do that transition in a year or 2, no problem. Do it in 5 years. It's not a problem at all.
It's not a rush.
Your equity is going to grow. You're going to have appreciation, and you can 9 times out of 10 live rent free. And then you just jump over into another house, save you a nice nest egg, jump into another one, and just keep repeating that process. 20, 30 years down the line, you might have a total of 20 units, and then now you're set.
Now you're chilling. Tell me, I'm going to end with this last question.
Shoot.
You mentioned strategic partnerships and networking with people. Tell me how important that is and what you would suggest to meet people. How would you suggest to go about that?
I would say this. I would not be where I am today without strategic partnerships. And a strategic partnership could look very simple. It doesn't have to be anything overcomplicated, right? I may be amazing with numbers, and you might be great on the construction side if we're looking at real estate. So what does that look like? Okay, cool. I'll find a property. I'll do all the background research, all the analysis, and you can fix it up. That's a strategic partnership. We don't have to overcomplicate things. We can make it super, super simple, but you definitely want a strategic partnership. That's the only way you can accelerate. I like to even utilize you and your partners as an example, right? You have a strategic partnership. It's 3 of you guys, correct?
5.
5 of you guys, but you have a strategic partnership. You guys are all good in a specific sector, and it works out. So individuals, they might come to one of your partners. You can say, I'm not good with this. Let me reach you over to Kevin. And it's just, you're keeping the money in-house. So for our business, I'll use Energetic now as an example. Everything is good in the sense of I run around all day as a face. So you'll see me a little bit more than Marlon and Jessica, but Jessica's in the background taking care of all the clients and the financials. And Marlon's in the background taking care of all the strategic partnerships with all of our investors that are putting cars in the business. So we all play a part, and that's super big because you can't do everything by yourself.
Exactly. I they use it on Shark Tank all the time. They talk about, would you rather have 100% of a grape or a smaller percentage of a watermelon?
That's it.
And I think people miss out where they try to do everything themselves. And it's like, I'm going to own this. This is going to be mine. And it's like, you're not good at everything. Nobody is. And you could even be good at 90% of things, but that 10% could be your downfall.
Yep.
So amazing. How can people find you?
Guys, if you go onto Facebook, it's going to be just Antwan L. Shirley, or you can go to my Instagram, which is Antwan_Shirley, or Formula of Freedom on Instagram, as well as Energetic Exotics on Instagram.
Absolutely amazing. Well, I cannot thank you enough for coming on the episode. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you again, my friend, and we will see you guys soon. Make sure you like and subscribe.
Thank you.